Hello, welcome to another episode of Forgotten Cemeteries, Pacific Northwest. Today we're in Mosier Pioneer Cemetery, located in Mosier, Oregon, and our first Wasco County cemetery, which is has some really out-of-the-way cemeteries that look challenging to venture to, so hopefully we can visit a few as time goes on. Alternative names of the cemetery include Oak Grove and Old Mosier, so let's go meet some of the residents and hear their story. A little history about this cemetery, a small one, 0 to 25 burials, estimated per the Oregon Burial Site Guide. Opened up in 1865. Oregon Burial Site Guide says it ran from 1865 until 1899, but Find a Grave is showing some recent burials, so apparently it's reopened. It also stated a few graves were moved to the new fancy Mosier Cemetery, but most remained here with this nice view, one of the better views we've seen with the cemeteries. The last report I read said there was heavy overgrowth and vandalism, but I believe there was efforts for restoration sometime in 2010, and it's a lot cleaner here. It looks better than the old pictures. Other than that, a cemetery that came and went, grew weeds, got vandalized, then got a spruce up job. As far as the town of Mosier, it was settled in 1854 and is only 0.64 square miles apparently. Population was 433 in 2010, thus the city motto was small enough to make a difference. Before that time, the area was inhabited by the Wasco tribe, who lived along the south side of the Columbia River. Reading up on them, they were primarily fishermen, but traded quite a bit with other tribes. However, in 1843, things would change in Oregon, as massive crowds of settlers flooded the area. Only got worse for Wasco tribe. By 1852, around 12,000 settlers were passing through the area. Then, in 1855, Joe Palmer was ordered to clear the Native Americans from their land. A treaty was formed, and the natives would give up 10 million acres of their land, and they were relocated to Warm Springs, a reservation that has 650,000 acres, so balanced deal, huh? They were given exclusive rights to this area, but things didn't really work out for the tribe. The salmon wasn't very plentiful there, soil was garbage, thus making farming undoable, and this pretty much forced them into the settlers' way of living. Slight rewind to 1853 though. Jonah and Jane Mosier moved into the Oregon Territory. Jonah worked as a contractor for a bit and then got a donation land claim along the Columbia River, thus Mosier was born. Today we hear the story of the Mosier family, and one of the residents is related to a revolutionary soldier who sadly met his end as a prisoner of war. We'll try to enjoy the nice view though. Our first stop is Jonah Harrison Mosier. Family history notes that they left Germany and arrived in the Chesapeake Bay sometime during the 17th century. I can only find one record in Virginia relating to Wilbur Mosier, who died as a prisoner of war during the Civil War. And then another in Maryland of S.E. Mosier, who was killed in battle October 16, 1861 in the Civil War. Unsure if it was the Battle of Bolivar Heights, but it does show his unit showing up at that particular battle on that date. Back to our visit here of Jonah Mosier. There's another note that there was apparently $18 million just sitting around from their early ancestors. That's pretty wild. That money was donated to the Catholic Church instead of being divided among the family members. So must have been some drama there. This event was before the immigration, so some strong feelings there, who knows. But Jonah was born in PA, but eventually ended up in Missouri, becoming a cabinet maker apprentice. So carpentry became his trade. Did well in the Midwest and became co-owner of the dry goods store. In 1849, he would join the California Gold Rush with a crew of 7 dudes, but it appears he sold hay on the side, making a decent amount of money. He returned home, decided to take the Oregon Trail in 1853. I guess his family didn't arrive in the best state. Had just under a little $2 in his pocket. I think it was like $1.72 or something. Had 3 oxen, a cow, and a lemon for a wagon. Talk specifically about how much of a piece of crap wagon was, so not sure what's going on there. However, due to his carpentry background, he started building a store for some businessmen. Records were a little all over the place, but it made it seem like Mosier settled in Dog River, Oregon. But something bad must have happened in the 1850s. A note of an Indian massacre and the Mosier family fleeing the area in the middle of the night is recorded. Apparently bullets were flying everywhere, and the Mosier family escaped on horseback to the Dalles where they settled. And I guess some of those bullets like grazed Jonah, but nothing too serious, luckily. Continuing on, at some point timber becomes an issue for him, so he travels 15 miles down to the Columbia River, hence Mosier was founded. Then builds a mill and supplies the Dalles with supplies they need to build their little town there. As mentioned in the conflicts between settlers and Native Americans, Jonah never resorted to weapons during the scuffles. He just never used a gun or a knife based on the records. just resorted to his fists, and apparently the Native Americans were like, whoa, this bro's for real, and they ended up getting along and they respected him. I read that he went through some hardships, losing mills to fire and flooding. In 1865, he ventured off to some mines in Idaho. He made quite a fortune there, but learned that his wife died in 1865 at the age of 41. Her name is Jane Mosier, and she is buried here at this small cemetery. She has an interesting little story as well. Jonah did rush home to take care of his family in the year 1866. He then met Martha Jane Howard Lewis, who was an 1844 Oregon Trail traveler and was at the Whitman mission during that whole massacre. Apparently she learned a Native American language. What specific language that was, I'm not really sure. However, Martha is buried in the fancy Oddfellow Cemetery in the Dalles. Has 10,000 memorials, so no thanks, too fancy for our taste. There's something unique though about Martha's father and the Whitman mission and massacre. He was apparently such a good blacksmith that the Native Americans thought he had some supernatural way of fixing things and going about it. So because of that belief, the Native Americans guided the Howard family to safety during the Whitman massacre. So that's kind of neat. Back to Jonah, he left a massive impression on this area. Today we got this little small town along the Columbia River with a beautiful view and a pretty nice cemetery too. I wonder if the people down there know the reason they got to live in this amazing location and all the history. Our final story is of Jane Mosier. Sorry if I'm jumping around the cemetery. It's kind of a small one. The tour should be a little fun, but was the wife of Jonah and sadly died at the age of 41. Not sure why, as mentioned before. However, her ex-time's grandfather, Private John Kennedy Jr., fought in the Revolutionary War and has a bit of a sad ending. He was taken prisoner during the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. The Americans put up a hell of a fight, depleting the British forces by 27%. However, this fight would result in a British victory. John Kennedy was put on a ship called the Jersey, with a notorious reputation as being the worst of the prison ships. John was put on the ship March 15, 1781. He would die 3 months later, June 26, 1781, dying of starvation. He had a wife and 7 children he left behind during that time. From what I read, prisoners who died in the Jersey were randomly buried in the sand along the Jersey shore. Bodies were indeed found post-Revolutionary War. However, John's final resting place will never be known to this day, from my understanding. There's a monument for all the New York viewers called the Prison Ship Monument, but relatively unknown if John made it there and had his final resting place. But we got this tiny little YouTube channel to tell a story. And a cool note, the Kennedy family have served in every American war except the Spanish-American War. Alright, time for the tour. This one's relatively easy to get to, shockingly. I'd say about 10 minutes from Hood River. There's a retirement home, but then before the retirement home you could park on the road for free apparently for like 2 hours. This is one of the cooler ones we visited. Leave that for you to read. Mildred Phillips. Oh, our kid over there. And then it just opens up to the cemetery. Born in Tennessee. And we'll go back there in a little bit, but Mosier's headstone, which I hope I'm saying that right, Mosier. I practiced a few times before I came. I'm sure someone will let me know if I'm saying it wrong. But Jonah. Who do this? Oh, there's Jane, daughter of Ellen Rollins. believe there are new burials here. I think that's what I saw behind the grave. Not sure why it's fenced off. I don't see anything so far. Maybe there's a known grave in there hidden. Here we go. It's a nice little fancy area back here. Oops. Oh yeah, 2017, so. Well, I see died in 1870, so this is an old one. Can't make it out with the human eye. Oh, that's another new one. I've not walked back here, so looking for headstones with you. If I miss one, apologies. Like I said, not too many. But the wildflowers are really cool at this location. Springtime, thank God. Had enough of that frosty morning stuff. Let's go check out the valley down here for fun. But if you need to get away from the world, as I always say, that I knew there was a park bench down here. Can chill out. Look at Columbia, and that's Washington's side over there. I'm told Oregon's the best side. I don't know if that's a Washington and Oregon battle there, but who knows. Anywho, thanks for watching. Hope you're doing all right, getting some nice weather wherever you are in the country or world. If you have any other recommendations for cemeteries to visit in Oregon, feel free to pipe up below. Stay safe out there and have a good one, and thank you for watching.